Alright, so today we're going to be conducting an interview for our Media Studies A2 short film. And today it is Fatma Sami Sheikh, my team partner, and myself, Serna Zainab Rana, and we are going to be conducting an interview with this lovely sir. Sir, can you please introduce yourself?
Oh, I'm Shahid, and besides this ceramics and pottery work, I do, and I have been doing media also. Media means the work related to set designs and post production, and as a visualizer.
Alright, very nice.
So we're here to get some insight on set designs. So, sir, how do you think the industry has changed from the 80s?
It has changed a lot because in 80s I went for my professional studies and trainings to Kuala Lumpur and UK. They were much advanced than Pakistan even in the 80s. But if we see now, Pakistan has developed a lot in the field of media and electronics and everything. Yeah.
Right. So, what was your experience in the media department? Just talk about your general experience.
Well, I really enjoy my subject, whatever offshoots of the art and designs are. You know, I really love to draw. I really love to work for television sets,
So can you
even
talk
for
more
film.
about that? The television and film sets that you've been creating.
Yeah, I mostly in my university where I was working for the media section, it was mostly an educational TV.
Yeah.
So the producers and the directors used to bring their scripts, and according to that we were, working on the sets. It's not very creative when you say it's an educational, because it's
Limits you?
yeah, it limits you.
Yes, I understand.
To-
So, what do you think are the most important elements in building a set?
Well, it's again the basics of the set design and basics of art and design. Like you have to look the whole environment according to your subject, and then you see your what are the props required for your set walls, and what kind of a furniture you are going to put, and obviously you start with the dot, and then you come to the line, and then you think about the harmony, balance, and everything.
How would you bring harmony in a set?
Well, it should relate the one side to the other side. That's called the harmony. If, for example, if if I'm hanging a painting on one wall, then I can't leave the other wall empty. I'll create a window over there and put plants behind the window, so that there's another visual on the.
It doesn't feel
Yeah.
fake.
And depth as well.
Right. So, what is some advice you would give someone who is completely new at this, like ourselves? We're making the set for the first time. We've never done this before. What is some advice?
Yeah. Well, that's one needs to work with some senior designer as a apprentice, or what you call that um,
As an intern?
under training,
Yeah.
and
Right.
you know,
Yes.
when you just keep on looking at the things, how
Learn
the
through this
designs are
process.
created, and what are the requirements of the camera and the light.
Yes.
So you gradually learn everything.
All right. I'd also like to ask a few questions regarding a concept that we have. I'll just explain it a little bit. So in media studies, we learn about this concept called mise en scène, which essentially refers to everything that that single frame or shot is going to convey to the audience, like the actors' hair, makeup, costumes, the lighting, and the set and
Props, all of
everything.
that stuff.
So that plays would you say that plays a pivotal role in actually making a good, convincing story?
I think you need to elaborate your question.
Yeah. Like in a shot, like for instance, we have these things. Like these things really emphasize maybe your personality. So would you advise us to really build that set so that every shot that we get has little pieces of personality in it to give us more
I
insight?
think with this subject, you need to, in my personal opinion, you need to create some kind of illustrative thing at the background which
Alright.
relates to this subject.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a very sketchy, not fully done baby's drawing,
All
or
right. Okay. A little.
yeah,
Mhm.
or something related to this subject.
Mm-hmm.
There must be some sketches.
That's actually very interesting. Not a fully drawn
Because
baby.
we were
Yeah.
looking at paintings to put for the walls as we showed you our set now.
Huh.
So we can probably
Yeah,
incorporate
yeah.
it over there.
That's a
Yeah,
very
maybe
good
maybe
idea.
you can just place a longer piece of paper
Mm-hmm.
with some incomplete sketches, and then in the middle maybe a very um, good sketch of a baby, maybe with little smile, or maybe some sketches shows the bit serious face features, something like that, and maybe some floral thing
Alright.
which complements the baby
Yes.
subject.
That's actually very good advice. Thank you. I'd also like to ask you about budget and costing. That how
Yeah.
much do you think we should like? What would you
Because
advise?
we do have budget constraints. We're students. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always considered in the very first instance. You have to look at your budget and then decide how and what to
Put it
incorporate
over
over there.
Yeah.
There are two things. In a very professional work, the producers, the directors come to a designer. They give them the script,
Mm-hmm.
and he or she reads the script, and see what kind of props and what kind of background is required. And then he makes a budget. If let's say if a director says we don't have that big budget, so then we decide what minimum can we do on the set, and
Alright.
we accordingly adjust it. It's not necessary that you create a very lavish set at the background and then you can produce a good. Maybe you can use some good lighting effects, and you can create a wonder in your shoots.
Oh, that's very helpful information. Thank you. And I think for one of our last questions, just to wrap this up, I'd like to ask you about what you would advise us on a personal level in terms of, we've got two scenes, like two sets basically. So how would you say that would be the best time? Like how much time do you think we should spend actually building it?
Uh,
Just a small set, like it's probably this much of space.
shouldn't take much time. I mean,
Mhm.
you can just place 2 or 3 uh, um, um, boards of 4 by 8
Alright.
feet, and maybe give them a very light color tone on it,
Mhm.
like ash white or ash gray.
Mhm.
So the subject in front, maybe a compare or whoever,
Yeah, builds
they
contrast
they
as well.
show it well. And what else you were asking for the set?
Just like about the like if we can also, do you think simplicity could be a key feature in this, like in this story, or should we go more in depth with building a set, or would it be fine if it's just a simple?
Well, you can explain your subject uh, like in a way that which is very symbolic, not very
Mhm.
direct.
Mhm.
It depends on your choice. I think
We do
this
lean
subject
towards symbolism.
should be done in a very symbolic way,
Mm.
because our people, most of the people, have some kind of psychological fears in their mind.
Yes.
They're not very open-minded people.
Mm.
One thing I would like to suggest that you should use 2 cameras. Maybe it's a phone or a
Yeah,
digital cameras. One for the long shot and one
Yeah.
for the
Close.
medium.
Okay, mid shot. Yeah.
Yeah, and you don't need to go to very close-ups,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
All right, I
That's
think
great.
that's all.
Thank you so much.
Thank
sir,
you
for your
so much
time.
for your
You're
time.
welcome.
Thank you.